This is Brett Waltemath of Star Watch Media here at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada for the UFC 130 fight between Rampage Jackson and Matt the Hammer Hamill. Brett Waltemath of Star Watch Media here with Dana White. Rampage and Hamill are headlining UFC 130 here at the MGM Grand on May 28th. What, in your opinion, do we have to look forward to in this fight? There was a lot of mixed feelings from the press and from the UFC fan base about Hamill being the replacement to face Rampage. What's your opinion of what we have to look forward to come Saturday?
Well, here's the thing. Anybody who's watched or followed the sport long enough, who would count anybody out, let alone Matt Hamill? He said it today in the press conference that he's been an underdog in his last 5 fights. The guy's been an underdog his whole life. And fighting Rampage is the opportunity of a lifetime. This is a career-changing moment for this guy. And if you don't think he's trained his ass off and he's not ready and he's not going to bring it to Rampage on Saturday, you're crazy.
One of the big criticisms of Hamill is his inexperience in comparison to Rampage. What's your take on that? And
what does that mean?
Experience in the octagon as far as the number of fights he's had with UFC.
But he's been around for a long time. He's a guy who's gone through the Ultimate Fighter. He's a guy who's been in big fights. I mean, all over the world. And I wouldn't necessarily say, yes, Rampage has more fights than him, but to say that Matt Hamill isn't seasoned and isn't an experienced fighter is insane. I mean, look at the guys he's been in there with.
As a just fighting fan, boxing fan in general, on this card, a lot of compelling matchups. Which matchup are you looking most forward to seeing on Saturday?
There's some good ones. Obviously, Mir and Big Country is an interesting matchup to see how that goes down. I'm interested in the Brian Stann fight, and I agree with what he said at the press conference today. I could not have agreed with him more on how much of a bigger fight this is for him and how much it means to his career to beat a guy like Santiago. Then I also like the Thiago Alves Rick Story fight. There's a ton of great cards. That's the thing. People want to sit around and yap. People are so spoiled from all the huge big cards that we always put on, and sometimes things happen. But if you're a real fight fan, this is first of all, you're getting a bunch of free fights on Facebook, Spike, and then the pay-per-view is awesome. There's going to be some good fights, and if you're a fight fan, you'll watch it, and if you're not happy with it, you'll buy the next one.
And for mixed martial arts and Ultimate Championship fighting, it seems like a lot of times we end up with better matchups and better fights than we end up with in boxing. A lot of times in boxing can be a lot more of a hit or miss than with mixed martial arts. What's kind of your take on that? Yeah,
well, the problem with boxing is these guys don't stack the card enough. You don't put enough. Listen, you can't guarantee that every fight is going to be a great fight. It's impossible, But if you stack the card and put enough great fights on, you're going to have a couple of those what I call holy shit moments where you jump out of your seat and and you get excited.
World Extreme Cage Fighting has now made the merger with UFC. What does that mean to this organization and to the sport worldwide?
It's huge. These smaller guys are very exciting, explosive. Some of the best fights you've ever seen are in the WEC, and now they finally get the opportunity to be in the big stage, and get global recognition for being UFC champions.
Let's comment just a little bit about the injuries that we've had this year. As a fight fan, it's been devastating. You kind of look back at, I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, 2008 was another hard year with a lot of injuries. There's really no way to prevent them, but what has it been about this year? Do you think we've seen more injuries than really the average?
Yeah, you go through all these different peaks and valleys. Sometimes there's, you go through a stretch where there's a bunch of injuries, and then we'll go for years where there isn't. It's just part of the business. When you're dealing with professional athletes and guys that train as hard as these guys do, it's going to happen. It just sucks when it all happens at once.
With the rapid growth in popularity of UFC and of mixed martial arts, in this coming year, in the years to come, how do you, what's kind of the goal to kind of keep that popularity just skyrocketing? Well,
number one, we haven't even scratched the surface of how big this thing's going to be. I don't consider us mainstream. I feel like we have our foot in the door of mainstream right now, but there's still so much work to do. I mean, we're not even in the state of New York yet. There's so much more room to grow, and there's other countries we haven't been to. Right now, we're in 500 million homes worldwide on television, and we get a couple more deals done here this year. We'll be in over 1 billion homes worldwide. So you want to talk about a sport growing rapidly, wait till you're in over 1 billion homes for the next 5 years. You create a whole new generation of fans, and this thing will just continue to grow and grow and grow.
2 weeks ago, we were in Corona, California for the grand opening of the UFC gym there. We were able to just see the fan base that came out to support the grand opening, the fighters that came, and just the overall support for the sport and for the gym. What does that mean to the sport, and what other UFC gyms will we see opening in the future? At what locations?
Yeah, it's huge. I feel that mixed martial arts is the new martial art. It's what kids and women and men are training in, and those gyms are our introduction to the mainstream. You know, we're not looking for fighters to go train there. We're looking for regular, everyday people that want to learn about mixed martial arts, train with their kids, you know, have this family environment where the whole family can work out. And it's been fantastic. It's been incredibly successful for us. And now I think the next one we're talking about opening is Hawaii.
Great. And is that BJ Penn's gym that he's doing?
Yes. Yep.
Mr. White, thank you so much for the time.